They're gonna catch my checklist. That's a bad bet.
Welcome back to Never Fade, the NFT podcast, where we bring in Web3 builders and we learn from them and we navigate Web3 together into this new frontier. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the podcast. If you have, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Twitter at Never Fade NFT. I'm your host, Faxx, and today we have a special episode. We're bringing in the founder of Rug Radio, Farokh, and somebody that's been in the space and we definitely expect is going to continue to be in the space. I'm really looking forward to this interview. And with my co-host, Goodmonth. Goodmonth, you looking forward to speaking with Farokh? What are you hoping to learn from Farokh or about Farokh today?
Yeah, I mean, Farokh is so instrumental to the space. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he's been here since the beginning of the rise of NFTs, beginning of 21. Comes with a content background prior to, I'm excited to learn and excited to navigate a little bit of just, his perspective on the space and how he's used his past to get into what he's doing and what his big mission is. Because I think really with builders in the space, there's a lot that goes unseen. We see people's PFPs and we hear their voice and we see what they write. But there's a lot of things that go on in the background that people don't understand and they don't get. So I'm excited to get in, tap into that.
Yeah, it's true. Farokh is somebody that I think we both watched from 2021, as the NFT space blew up. And he has a big social media background, as I understand. And then he kind of transitioned into Web3 and got really into NFTs. So hopefully we'll learn more about that and just kind of maybe some of the challenges he's faced, as well as, where he thinks we're going from here. So I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, let's bring in our guest today.
Let's go.
We got Farokh in the studio, the founder of Rug Radio, the godfather of Twitter Spaces, the hardest working man in Web3. What's good, Farokh? Thanks for joining us.
Yo, I appreciate the intro. I appreciate you make me blush out here. Right that. Yo, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on here and thank you for having me.
That's right. I'm happy to hear we're making you blush out here. Who knows what we're gonna get into, dude? This is backstage Farokh today, dude. That's the vibe today. So, you're living in front of the camera, you're living in front of the mic, you're on spaces, you're just out here all day and every day and grinding. So we respect what you're doing. This podcast is about bringing builders into the space who we know have a history of producing, people who we know are going to be here for the long term. And we definitely believe that's the case. So thank you so much for joining us. The first question is, Farokh, just, take us back to what inspired you to start Rug Radio, kind of the foundations of what has become a major, media, I'm going to call it empire in Web3 here. What started that mission for you?
I appreciate that, by the way. I call it media ecosystem, but I like the way you're putting it. And the beautiful thing is that the difference between this and an empire is there's not a single point of failure, and there's going to be one person that carries it on. The legacy of it is going to be a whole group of people that own the narrative. But back to that. So with that, this is obviously what made me want to start Rug Radio. I come from a background of media. I've been doing social media for as long as I remember. Since I was just a kid. I'm 28 now, still pretty young, right? I mean, though TG calls me boomer, but when I was 12 years old, so when I started, doing the social stuff, and then I got into Tumblr, Instagram, yada yada yada. My whole story from before, and so I've been doing it for a minute. But one thing I realized is that me as a creator, right, someone's creating content every day and helping grow a platform, growing my platform. Also, at the end of the day, you help the network, right, the platform. I'm not getting much out of it. And then I fell into Clubhouse, live social audio. I then fell into Web3 and NFTs one night 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago. And I left everything I was doing then, and I started looking into more like NFTs and Web3 and what's happening on here and with blockchain tech, because it's just I just got it right away. And I was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. And it seems like this technology can enable myself, someone like me, a creator, an entrepreneur, or whatnot, to build this community and then be able to like actually build something meaningful. I don't know what it was, but like early on, it's like it clicked. Fast forward a few months, I'm here hosting clubhouses. We moved to Twitter Spaces, doing spaces all day, every day, like 10, 12, 16 hours a day, like all day. Get rugged 20 times, come back 21 times, And so we're doing this thing. And then, one night, like one Sunday, like I'm on stage and then someone in my Discord, at the time, the Discord was called House of Farokh. And like, it was just a Discord for my community. It's just vibe. And so like, and I was doing this. And someone's like, damn, like, it's too bad I got to leave, go to bed. I have to go to my $11 hour job tomorrow. And I was like, wait, what if we find a way to reward people, so consumers that are therefore participants in Web3, for being part of an ecosystem, for being part of the content, for listening, for, and then doing all these things, while creators like myself or the people, like are the 9 people that are on my stage right now, can get also like something, from being there every day and creating content. So anyways, that's what stemmed like the first idea of Rug Radio. And on that like stage is where we started conceptualizing. And then a couple months later we launched, January 2020.
Frog, did you say 11 hour or $11 hour job? Is that what you just said?
That's what the person was saying. It was like, the person was saying, like, that's too bad I got to go back to my job tomorrow. Like, I wish I could stay on here and listen to the spaces. And I was like, wait, like, is there a way to reward people for staying on spaces and stuff like that and rewarding them? Because if I've learned something from the last 7, 8, 9 months in NFTs is that, blockchain technology can be used to empower culture and community. So I was like, how do I build something? Because I'd been doing media, I've been creating content, but I was like, how do I build something that can empower me as a creator and also everybody around me? That way we can all build Web3 and whatever it is today together.
Yeah. And I know you kind of mentioned that you couldn't put your finger on exactly what it was or that moment that it clicked for you. But just throwing out kind of an assumption there, I'd love for you to bat around, is being a content creator and getting into NFTs. Was it a connection? Was there a direct connection you felt that helped you scale and connect with people behind the computer or behind the, a mobile device that you hadn't seen in a decade of doing content?
What what really clicked for me is that, like, for me, like, NFTs was like the where internet kids and crypto OGs met, and then came NFTs. Meaning, like, I was not a crypto OG. I only got into crypto even in January 2021. And then a month and a half later, I fell into NFTs. Like, talk about luck, right? Or timing, right? And so, but for me, so I'm not a crypto OG. Never claimed to be, never will. But I understand memetics. I understand memes. I understand social platforms, because that's what I did. I've been doing it for 12 years. That's what I was already doing for 10 years. 2021 was my 10th year on doing social media every day, somewhat professionally at least, right? And so I did that, and then I found out about this. Like, what? This makes sense, because blockchain technology actually enables the things that we're trying to build. Like, all these things that you tell platforms that they can't reward you for, like, consuming or creating content, they can't, because they're too big now. It's tough to implement like blockchain tech on a whole publicly traded company that's worth almost $1 trillion, right? Meta, like things like that, or the Twitters, right? Like, you I'm sure the intentions are to build that, but like, it's tough to like just make it happen right away. But us, we're so early, especially given 2021. I was like, damn, like, I missed Bitcoin in 2012. I missed ETH in 2015, though I was there and I was told to do so, right? But I never took the leap of faith, right? And because maybe I was always scared also. But when I found out about this, I was like, why? I understand this, because I understand art and culture, but I also understand social media and community. And so it just, it was like, it was the most obvious, like Feb 18th, 2021, when I found out what an NFT was. Feb 19th in the morning, I shut down everything I was doing business-wise. And Feb 21st, I had my first NFT, and I've not been on a single day since that day. So
you just aped fast. You aped quick.
I wouldn't say I didn't ape with my money quick. I aped with my time very quick, meaning I gave every single awakened hour of the day to the space, to learning more. So I was hosting these clubhouse rooms. At the time, I wanted to educate, but I didn't know anything myself. So I would be the guy asking all the questions. What's an NFT? How does it work? What do you mean blockchain? How does that work? What the fuck? What does art have value on there? Why does this physical thing has more value than this digital thing? Like all these questions that you ask yourself coming into space, I was the guy asking them. And I got the chance to fall into a period where I met Thank You X first day, Ferocious, Fuck Render, Victor Mascara, Lady Phoenix, Tommy Kimmelman, the whole Nifty people back then. Like, And then like all these early builders, like it would be like you'd have Kayvon Terranian just like chilling, like the Founder Foundation on Clubhouse, like the founders of OpenSea. That was like at that time, right? Because it was so small. So it's just like I got to ask all these questions. Those were my teachers. So
yeah,
you
it was your curiosity. It was your
yeah.
curiosity that just red pilled you in. It sounds,
Mhm.
you know, I remember back in that time, there were so many tweets going around that people would just kind of put out there, you know, you give back to the communities and you'll get 10x back. You give and you get 10x back. You give and you get 10x back. And that's, you know, that's kind of gone away, like that sentiment of everybody knowing that they can give and get 10x back. But at the time, and I still believe it to be true in Web3, you know, there's still, curiosity is still extremely scarce. But at the time, right, if you just came in with open hands and a brain that was ready to absorb, like you really did knock down a lot of doors and you got a lot of access. A question, you know, for you in thinking about the memes, the memetic space, the arts, the culture. Like one of our questions on here was to go at like something when you were sub 16 that hit with you. And I think this is probably something that's like probably a more narrowed in question there. When you look at memes, when you look at art, you know, what do you remember when memes hit with you, but you couldn't articulate it to anybody else? And what did that, you know, how did that level up your game of understanding?
Memes hit with me right away. Remember the early memes of the troll face or the kid with the fist like that, and you used to write at the top and the bottom? That was a meme, right? It was like this famous photo and like top, bottom text, and that text was really weird with like the black, like bold outlines and stuff. That's when I started making. When I was a kid in school, I went to like this French school here in Montreal, like super strict and shit. Like it was like French private school here, and like and like super fucking strict vibes. And then like I made this page called CIMF memes. So it was Collège International Marie de France, and then my school memes. Remember when there was like Persian memes, Arab memes, like social media memes? Like there was like all these pages, like Montreal problems, like all these things, right? Or like high school memes. I made my pages, my school's meme page, and we had 800 students. And at the time we had 800 followers. So they were called likes. So the whole school followed the page. Like 90% of the students in the school included things. So I had to be anonymous. So for 2 years, I ran the fucking meme page. So my best friend since I've been 1 year old, who was still in school with me, didn't even know about this shit. That's how serious, because I could have gotten expelled. Yo, I have a Persian mom. I'd be dead. Okay. So like, and like they would expel people for less than that, you know? And so anyways, I did the whole meme page, and I revealed myself on the last day of school, graduation day. I posted my picture on the page like that. I need to find it for y'all. Let me see if it still exists, but I haven't gone there in years. It was on Facebook. But yeah, that's when memes hit for me, because I understood how to garner a community via these like images, which were like super like, you know, funny and relatable, right? Because people related to them. So that's why I always, I found it. It's all in French too, bro. It's so funny. Oh man.
Yeah, you gotta share that.
Yeah, here, I'll put it.
Link it in the chat over here.
Here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're gonna post that. Hazy, we're definitely gonna post that when we release this podcast for sure, so people can see this.
It was all in French, and it was about the teachers and whatnot. But it was like, there's one called teacher. Why you not pronounce my name well? Because it's like you can never pronounce Farokh well. And we all were like a bunch of immigrants to the school. It's like no names can be pronounced well. You feel me? It was like I'm Farokh. He's Sham. He's my, like it was like back to back. It was so fun because it was super culture. Like people were from all around the world. That's the beauty of Montreal, right? It was like 124 different origins and 70 different nationalities at the fucking school. It was the UN when I sit in class, and so it was just so fun to be able to build memes like that. And like, I don't know. It's just like the early
So we're
memes.
talking
2012.
We're talking like
2012.
We're talking. Yeah, I'm gonna say 2012, 2013. So
that's
you,
12.
so you
It's wow.
Yeah, wow, man. Yeah, so you got 5 years on me, or I got 5 years on you. So I'm a little bit your senior here, right? So you could call me Boomerville. But I picked up on memes just about that exact same time. So I was coming out of college, you know, packing a degree, and that's when that like the memes started hitting, just people writing whatever they wanted on a photo. And I remember seeing it, and I just thought like People are going to
So
stop
good.
reading. Like that was my first first reaction. People are going to stop reading. And I remember everyone around me just thought I was an idiot. And that's when, that's when I kind of knew there was a bull case there. I was like, man, when something's evoking emotion and no one's feeling it around me, like there's something there that's got the juice. So Rare Pepes caught my attention in like the 2016, 2017 time. And that was about the time they were getting kind of hijacked by the other political parties and whatnot.
Yeah.
And really, honestly, not a lot of people talk about this, but one of the most confusing periods and points of my like interest and space in it, because I mean, I was in love with them. I was all about them. They evoked emotion. They communicated through, to people behind computers in ways that, you couldn't land that type of emotion and connection with someone in writing one sentence. And then, the political landscape kind of takes them, the next way. And the next time you see them hit mainstream, it's in a light that you've never connected with. So when NFTs hit and it was hitting mainstream, it was almost like someone just hit that reset button, You were playing that video game, and that video game, wasn't giving you the perfect score, and someone came in, took out the cartridge, blew on it, put it back in, and it was go time round 2. So it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So mimetically, like if you look at the space right now, no floor price, no meta, no attribution to that. Like who's killing it in the mimetic space for you? Like who speaks to Farokh's internals on the mimetic side?
Obviously, I'm very big on the whole Rare Pepe ecosystem. I was actually tweeting about them before coming on the stage, just now, because I just bought more. But I'm a big fake rare and Rare Pepe. Like I love that community. It's like it speaks to me the most. It's like the most fun for me. It's where I escape. When I'm tired of Twitter, I go on Telegram on a Friday night and I talk to the Pepe Pawn Shop crew on the Rare Pepe chat, and like I buy pet frogs on Bitcoin because fuck yeah, because it's sick. It's my little thing. Like, or even down the notable Pepes because they speak to me because same crew, right, running that. So the people I buy my fake rares from. So I bought all of them again yesterday. So I have a full set. So that speaks to me a lot, that community, because they're generally there for culture and art, which is super fun. Like even that chat, like on Telegram, it's like all good vibes, like in terms of like, no, like not good vibes in the same sense like on Twitter, but it's more like people just talking about like cards and stuff like that. And like you'll have the artists chilling there. Like, they've been creating Rare Pepes like 2016, 17. And it's just a good vibe. And then you just buy cards, trade cards and whatnot. But other ones, I think a lot of artists just get it. Like it's tough. Who's killing with the mimetic stuff? I mean, fuck. So many people have done so well. I mean, you know what Luca's doing with the Pudgy Penguins and then with the Giphy stuff, I'm a fan of because, I mean, I've known Luca for years. We come from the same industry, similar backgrounds through social media. He was on the buy side. I was on the sell side for ads. But he was doing all his e-com stuff and I was selling ads and he was buying ads from people. But that's how I know he gets it, right? So a lot of people that were there.
Do we got it on the pod? Do we got it on the pod right now that Luca Nets was your exit lick when you were selling ads?
No. I was saying he was part of those kids that like were starting like e-com stores and killing it in e-com, and I was part of the other side. We're selling ads to people. It's crazy. It's so funny, right? He was like on both sides. Actually, as a matter of fact, I wish I was on this side because those motherfuckers were giving me more money. They had the brand selling the fucking product. See, that's why. You know what I mean? Like it was a point in time where I was so much on that side. I was like, yo, I gotta get on the other fucking side, bro. But if any,
and shout out to Luca for someone to come in and take that project over. I think 100%. we all know when Pudgy's originally dropped, there was a lot of talk around, just the purchases and the bids and everything that was going down was a little bit of a schematic behind it. And it really took some heat and it got faded and Luca came in. Yep. That's a bold move. Took it on and has really ran that IP to the next level. And he's giving it legs and he's taking, IP that surfaced with provenance to a level that I think is going to inspire a lot of people to drop back into projects and figure out how to find operators like him. because there's no doubt there aren't a lot of people in the Web3 space that talk about Luca as an operator, but he is, and I think it's gonna, I think people are got to bring a little bit more light to like what an operator can do to a community.
100%. Operator is super important. I had to learn how to become a better operator and operate in general. There's no other like choice in the space. Like you got to learn how to fucking operate. And if you know how to operate right, like you'll run laps around people because most people don't know how to and think they could. And because the space was hype, you could raise a lot of money real fast. Next thing you know, you got to figure out what to do with that $5 million. You know, that $1, $2, $3 million. Most people don't. You know, and I'm not gonna sit there acting like I do or I did, but I definitely know more now than I did a year ago, and definitely know more than the year before. But you have to turn into an operating machine in the space. I mean, in order to make it. If not, then you have to surround yourself with operators and bring operators on board, because that's like the thing that's the most important.
Yeah, Faxx. And I know Faxx has some questions for you, but on that, and I'll let him get at it, but on that operating tip, can you highlight like 2 or 3 things in the last year that you learned as an operator that was hard for you?
I think delegating, and even if you look back at podcasting me years ago, I would always say that my biggest pain point is delegation. Because trust issues, first and foremost. And second of all, because you think you can do it all, but then you realize you can't do it all. But you also have to trust people to do things for you and with you, and that to do it right. So delegation was one of them that I like to think I've gotten way better as we've grown to a team of close to 15, 17, full-time people. So I learn every day though with that. And then the second thing was, the level at which you have to show up every day on a consistent basis is crazy when you run at a certain level. Like, it's no longer about being consistent. It's like being consistent at a high level and pace every day. Like there's like, they say there's levels to this shit. I had to learn over this last year. There's literally levels to this shit. And I want to be there. I want this, right? And so it's some days like, whew, you're like, damn, I'm tired. But then you're like, but you gotta pull up, because you have because once you've delegated into all these things that I just talked about, you have to like be able to like manage. So, 2 things are very, very tough that I've had to learn.
Yeah. And that's why it really, we wanted to have you on the show, Farokh, is because, look, personally, I watched your journey from Clubhouse to Twitter, founding Rug Radio, why you called it Rug Radio, because you were getting rugged on Twitter spaces left and right. I watched this, and I know it was a lot of work, man. And you've been on it, like you said, like we can't gloss over the fact that you literally have been on it every single day this entire time. If it's not Twitter spaces, it's on a conference, hosting an event, and so on. So, like, my first question is, what drives you to keep the pedal on the metal like that?
I'm at a stage where it's like so fun. Like I genuinely found something I loved as a kid 10 years ago, like memetics, social media, and everything. And I obviously love people. And like I managed to build like almost a life in a way around that, right? And then I managed to just work on that every day for the last 10 years of my life. And so, and everything that I did for the last 10 years, I have a theory that all this stuff for 10 years brought me into NFTs and Web3. And then this is a new chapter, this next decade, because I did 10 years of that, and I'm 2 years into this. So I have 8 more years. Like, it's decades, right? At a time that you really level up. But it's everything brought me there. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's that's what drives me daily. It's like the feeling of like just loving what I do and knowing that like I feel like I'm really doing something right, and I really want to be the best I can be at that every day. Like even some days are harder. I'm not gonna lie. Like even this week, because like the load of work every week is actually getting like way bigger and more important and harder. I know a lot of people don't see that in like the Twitters and stuff, like, because you see me going every day to good morning, GM, Monday, like you get it, like okay, like, but like the thing is like the load of work outside of that is insane all day long, like, and it's just like back to back, like calls, show, calls. Maybe like at some, I eat usually at my desk, breakfast and lunch, and then like, you know, calls, and then maybe a night show on top of that. And if not, it's like event. Like right now, it's like all week work Monday to Friday, but then Friday afternoon I have to go to Charleston to be at Beeple's launch event. And Sunday morning I have to come back here so I can work Sunday afternoon, and then get back on the grind on Monday and do everything we got to do, right? And so it's just like, you know, it's just like, I feel like, and what drives me in those times, that knowing that we're onto something good, honestly, and feeling it more than ever.
Yeah, you're a man on a mission.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really what it is. So that's interesting to kind of get into your mind a little bit about that. But like what is the mission, Farokh? Like, what is the mission?
Dude, that's a deep and also very like vague question in a way. But what I mean by that is not bad. It's just like, it's a lot to it. But I think like the mission is just to be able to like change my life and the life of people around me. It's always been that mission since I'm 14 years old. Like that's when I got into Tumblr and like social platforms. I was like, well, I want to be able, through social media, from the tip of my thumbs. I was 14, 15 years old, I think, when I started Mr. Good Life on Tumblr, like impact the lives of others and also gather them to talk about specific topics, that's no matter where they're from. And at the same time, be able to maybe inspire them and like do something, build something out of it. So the mission always stayed the same as like the kid from when I was like 14, 15, but just like everything just got bigger around it, right? So like Rock Radio, when you think about it, like I'm able to do really cool things that I've always loved doing and dreamed on doing, and I get to work with the dopest people. Like every day I wake up, I work with the dopest people. Like that, I love that. You know, my team's cool. The people I get to, I mean, hosting with my Notice every morning is fire. Like getting on calls, doing things like that with you guys. Like, look, this is fun, right? This is cool. But at the same time, I know for a fact it is also changing the lives and impacting the lives of a lot of people in the space, whether it's directly the team I have and their families, or the listeners, or people are educating themselves. And I know that because we get told that a lot, you know, and, you know, that's the type of stuff people DM you about or like talk to you about in person, but you see the impact, and also the impact it has on an industry, right? Because the goal is to empower creators, to empower people to go out there and build their brands, empower them to educate, to entertain, and all that. So that's like, that adds a lot to the motivation, right? When you know this and you see this, you're like, fuck, like you almost feel like you have to keep going.
Yeah, and when you're empowering people around you and you're impacting people around you, um, naturally they kind of like they want to rally around you and lift you up. But the crazy thing about social media, especially as you get bigger and bigger, like you have, is there's always going to be people that at the same time want to pull you down. You know, and it's just what it is. And I know that there's been over the past couple of years, probably some frustrating moments, you know, some times where it's just like, look, I already got all of this work on my plate. I already got the stuff I got to get to. And on top of that, I have to deal, let's call it what it is. I got to deal with some bullshit too. So the question is, Farokh, like, what would Farokh of today tell Farokh of, you know, 6 months ago or a year ago when you were dealing with some of those most frustrating times? Like, what would you go back and tell yourself?
When going through hell, keep going. Keith Grossman called me and told me that one morning I was dealing with some bullshit, and that's Winston Churchill quote, of course. And I was like, all right. And I would tell myself that every single time, because it is what it is, bro. You know, like it's the most frustrating thing in the world. Literally, and the bigger we get and the more good we genuinely do, the more frustrating it gets. Even the little things, they get frustrating even more, because you're like, it's like every time it's like, it's got to be something, right? And so, but you know what? It comes with it, right? You can't expect to like grow big, grow fast, do things, and not have people that will not like it and will not want to be part of the way. And you know, you will get along with people, and you will also not get along with people. There's 8 billion people in this world. I'm not trying to be friends with 8 billion people. I understand some people will not like me, and it's fine, because there's also people I won't like, you know, and there's also people I don't like. It's said that I don't spend my time berating them or like attacking them on platforms. I'm busy trying to get myself to a level that I want to get to, which I wish more people would like think like that. Like, instead of like going out there and like putting something out, just message someone, just call them, say, yo, like, you know, fuck you. I don't know, anything it is. Like when I have a problem with people, I'm the type, like if I have a problem with someone in the space, whatever, I will literally pick up the phone and call them and have the conversation, because it's so much better. It's like, hey, like I don't like this, I don't like that, why?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of like going out there. So I think it is what it is, but that's what I tell myself, just keep going. And that's what I told myself at those times, even when you don't want to show up, even you gotta host a morning show because you can't cancel that, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you got a team that counts on you, and all this stuff. Like you gotta, what are you gonna do? Stop? Not unless you're not sure of yourself and you have something wrong. But you know,
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. I mean, everything you said, I think, and I want to go into this a little bit regarding family, because you always mention family. I think it's really core to your roots that you put a lot of people in the family circle. And before we get there, I think something that I really just want to call to the surface is that when you are, you mentioned there's levels to this and operating, and when you're building and you're increasing your, attack, or you're increasing your surface area on operations and leveling up, sometimes that negativity that gets shot at you at certain points, it just creates roadblocks. It's hurdles for you to get over. You just dropped your schedule on us. You're going to Charleston for the People event. You got to get back to your mic so that you can do a high quality show for your people on Sunday, right? Most people, when you see a PFP on Twitter and you see text and you hear vocals, people want to just grab their arrow and shoot their bows. But it's the details of an operator that we don't see on social media. It's the details of the operator that we don't get the whole story of that. You're going out to people, you're flying back to get your mic to do a quality show. You could be hanging out with people longer. You got the access. You could be on a boondoggle, but you're getting back from the family that you support, and that's the people that you support around. So talk to me a little bit about, like, 2 years from now. Farokh has scaled. Like, Farokh has delegated. Farokh has mastered operations. Where are you, man?
2 years from now, I'll probably still be right here doing the same damn thing. I have a feeling we're in it for because I even know like I got my next. We know where we're headed, right? Like there's things that come out all the time. The space changes fast and moves fast. You have to be ready to shift at any time. But we have a general plan and know where we're going, right? That's because like what happens when you operate, you want to plan out even your expenses, et cetera, partnerships and whatnot. So there's in 2 years I'll still be here. It seems like I'll still be I have to this thing needs to be built. Rug Radio. That's why the token is yielded over 5 years, because we're working on progressive decentralization over 5 years. So that means that it needs 5 years of love.
Hold up.
Right?
I got to stop you because we know you're going to be here in 2 years. We know you're going to still be here. You're going to be better than you are today, right? Like, it's not Farokh is unfadable. Like I said in that pre-video, you're everyone's cousin. Like, I've never met someone without a cousin. You show me someone who doesn't have a cousin, right? And that is you in Web3. So there's no question that you're gonna be here in 2 years.
I love that. No, exactly. But we'll be, hopefully in 2 years we'll still be where we're at. We'll just be bigger, and then hopefully the space will also be in a better place, and we'll be building with a bunch of dope people.
But take a big bite for me. Take a big bite for me. In 2 years, where do you want to be? Like, I want an audacious batshit bite from Farokh.
Wow. In 2 years, what will it be? I mean, hopefully, we'll be a 50 to 100 person operation. Like the amount of people in our ecosystem will obviously, hopefully 10x, literally. Like I'm looking for 10x in terms of the amount of how big the ecosystem will grow in the next 2 years, honestly, in terms of our audience, in terms of the size, in terms of our holders, in terms of everything around. So hopefully we'll be, in a good place. And hopefully right now we have 67 creators. Hopefully we'll be in the hundreds. So that's really the goal, right? To be multilingual,
and then
vertical, everywhere.
Do you have a metric within your ecosystem that's like your baby metric, your baby KPI that you watch, track every day?
There's a lot of metrics that we look at all the time, and we're trying to become more and more data driven, operation all the time. But I think it's a lot, because when you talk about media in so many different aspects, there's like impressions and amount of times like something is seen, which is very important in general, because at the end of the day, you want to talk IP, you talk brand, you talk logo, you talk how many times you put something in front of other people. So there's that metric is very important to me. Like even right now, like behind the scenes, I have all these little goals internally for like how many impressions I would like Rug Radio's account to be at on Twitter. So first goal was 1 million. We did hit that. Then second goal was 2.5 million. I think we're hitting that any day now. It was like 243, I think yesterday or something like that. So these little things I like to look at. Also, like the amount of actual like reach and following across different platforms is important. And then, because we obviously grow all our stuff like organically native from scratch. That's the way we've always done it. The way I've always done it. And then the amount of like creators on the platform is important, right? And see how you can then try and empower all of them. So I was really happy and surprised to find out last town hall that 67, because we have someone working on all that. Obviously, Jess, she does the creators and rewards, but it was like 40 a few months ago. So these are metrics that are important. So it's not just one metrics, I would say. And of course, one of the important metrics at the end of the day is the amount of money in the treasury, right? The Rug DAO's treasury is all on chain, public, very known to all our holders and to everybody. And that's where everything goes. And so, it's important that treasury continues to grow at the end of the day, right? In order to be able to keep operating for the years to come.
So on the topic of DAOs, it sounded like a real good idea at first, right? It's like we're gonna decentralize, gonna be autonomous, we're gonna run all of these different things as a group. But what we've seen in practice is that most DAOs have not functioned very well. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But specific to Rug DAO, like what are some of the challenges that you faced trying to operate a DAO?
I mean, I agree with you, right? Like we have yet to see like the perfect like DAO model that will work out and whatnot. But again, like I put that on the back of being early, obviously like a lot of things, but that is something genuinely because we're very early to a new technology and the new systems. Like, look, like the USA, like the regulators are still trying to fight crypto, bro. You know what I mean? So imagine the leeway we have to get to the point of DAOs to replace like LLCs and stuff. We're that early, right? So I'm actually very excited about DAOs. I know a lot of people are not, and because of the fact that a lot of them were just group chats or it didn't work out, and also people genuinely don't care about governance because then you're just working for a nonprofit and you're not getting any value for the amount of input you put into an organization. Rightfully so, right? Like I think that's very fair. What we're trying to do is we're not trying to fix DAOs by all means, a Rug DAO with the Rug Radio, but we're trying to make it so that if you manage to allow the right individuals to be empowered and extract value out of the DAO, and by extracting means whether getting funding from the DAO, like the prop house that was invented by Nouns that we adopted, a Rug Radio, and a bunch of other things. So for them to be able to get actually rewarded, right? Something more than just a native token, whatnot, to be able to build with the ecosystem, then you'll be able to actually figure it out. I see it as like building a brand, a company on steroids, right? Because you can outsource some of the work or the things in order to grow faster and build faster, but also incentivize the right people to do so. Like sometimes in a company, you may not figure out who's the right person to come and build something you don't think you need, but someone's like, hey, you need this dashboard for this and that. Let us build it. Here's a proposal. Here's how much we're asking for. Boom. Okay, fine. Let's go. Like we just had the prop house round. It was like 20 something proposals. And we decided to fund 6 of them at 0.5 ETH each, right? Because we had like a 3 ETH budget from the DAO to be able to fund a few things for a month, right? And we're going to do this every month as a new round. And the amounts are going to get bigger and the people, right? Someone wanted a sponsorship for like Ethereum Guatemala or something. And they got it because people voted on it. And now Rug Radio's logo was on the freaking thing for ETH Guatemala. And I was like, but I have nothing. And I double checked, like, but I haven't really had anything to do with that. But then I checked, I'm like, but that's cool because the people voted for that to go through and liked it. I don't have time to see everything and do everything. But the fact that someone made the time and built it on top of this ecosystem they're supporting works. And that is how we can not fix it, but make a DAO work. It's a true network effect. Creators within Rug Radio create the content. They're the most important people in Rug Radio. There's a left, right, center of it all. It's the creators, right? they bring value to their participants, right? Your consumers are now your participants, right? And you manage to bring them value, which then also elevate the creators, which then elevate the platform as a whole. And then the platform, if managed to redistribute that all the way to creators as much as possible, it's just everlasting. And that's how you get the full network effect. So that's how I think of Rug Radio, honestly, in the Rug DAO.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? It kind of goes back to like this idea of delegation, because it's like a whole nother step of delegation where you're not just like, you're not really just delegating it to somebody else to do X, Y, Z that you need to do to operate something. You're actually like delegating it to people who are voting on behalf of what their own interests may be, you know, and collectively that'll kind of determine next steps and how treasury funds will be used and this kind of thing. And it's kind of like an interesting concept, because you really have to just kind of like hope that the people who are engaged and interested in what you've been building, you know, are going to make good decisions. You got to kind of just let go. And like you said, it was like, you know, this ETH Guatemala, it's not something that you ever, Farokh, on your own would have come up with. But it was something that was interesting enough and inspiring enough to the people involved in this DAO that they were able to push something forward. So like, if you could send a message to the DAO, you know, to the people in your DAO, like what message would you send them?
I would say like participate, like keep, like honestly participate, yo. Cause like there is like a certain amount of like ETH and everything we have in this DAO, right? And it's not small. Like we have over 1,400 ETH in the Rug DAO, and like and some USDC as well, because it's how we've been running operations, and it's all there in our wiki and everything. We post all our financials to the public. It's fun. I love it. And so it's all there, but it's just participate, because now that it takes time, but you build the infrastructure around it. Now you have to like actually participate and try to get something out of it so that we can have these use cases that work, right? So that's always like, that's something I talk about a lot to people when they ask me how they can help and whatnot. I'm like, why don't we just prove that this thing can work, right? Like you want to do something with Rug Radio sometimes, and yeah, maybe you won't be able to get Farokh's attention, right? Because it's tough. Like I'm already doing like a million other things during that day, right? And the team is pretty busy too, and we're not like 100% company, right? Well, you know, so it's still like, you know, we're startup, right? And we're doing our best. And so I think there are ways that to participate and get something out of it outside of, you know, the regular way. So let's prove that works. That's what I would say. It's like, you know, let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen. So I'm gonna shift gears on you a little bit here. Mm-hmm. You know, we established that like you got a lot on your plate. You've been on the grind. But what if, you know, I could bring a little genie out of a bottle and kind of like freeze time right now for Farokh and be like, yo, Farokh, you got 6 months. You're not going to miss anything. We're going to keep everything exactly the way it is right here waiting for you. Well, you can do whatever you want with that time. Learn something, engage in something you've been meaning to, whatever. The world is your oyster, Farokh, and the time is no longer a problem. What are you going to do with that time?
Damn, that's you.
Like Bob Iger, like Bob Iger from Disney, like you know, he's back in Disney. Bob Iger comes in and he goes, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna hold the ship because you got the juice, and I need you to go mine next gen juice for 6 months."
Damn, that's crazy. Like meaning like I have to go, like I have to leave this. I guess I have to.
You don't have to do anything, bro. You can sit on your couch, dude. And, you know, I don't know, but this is your opportunity to like freeze time for a minute and be like, the world is your oyster, my guy. What are you doing with this time? I know. You've been in such a mode where it's like this question came so far out of left field, you weren't ready for it.
Because that's I know that my next 6 months are going to be just like working like a dog. I'm just like, what does life look like without that? A lot of golf. I want to go golfing for 6 months. I want to go golfing.
Let's go.
One of the little things is I'm addicted to golf videos on Instagram Reels. I cannot stop watching Tiger Woods fucking replays and shots, you know, and like with the superhero song on top of the like fucking like superhero. Yeah, put cut in. I just watched a Netflix Full Swing show they were following the guys on the PGA tour. I don't know why. I've gotten this like obsession with it. Like the boys know I'm like, because I've been telling Ovi and Mando like, there's going to be a point this year where I will need to take a 2-week vacation, like for my own like I will need to like force myself to full stop it, because since we launched, I've never done that ever. So I need to like, I'm into it. I was like, I think I'm just gonna go play golf for 2 weeks. So if you're asking me for 6 months, I mean, I'm gonna just do that and like just be someone who an enjoyer, you know, like back to like 6 months being the enjoyer, listen on Twitter Spaces, maybe not go on stage, not a host, like enjoy it, collect the shit out of it, you know, like buy stuff, have fun. Like that's what I would do if I was forced, like on a forced leave type of thing. That's what I would do, because you can't get me away from it. But yeah, that we know that's not going to be the case at all.
You see the bag. You see the
Yeah,
bag over
right
the
there.
shoulder, right? Like
He's got the golf bug. Good. He's got the golf bug. Good. Let's go.
Golf trip for like, we need a golf event like for Web3. Like,
yeah.
Oh, good. Hit him with the PNC.
All right.
PNC, good.
So here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. So Hazy-B, who's our producer on behind the boards here, he and I put on two Web3 tournaments last year, November in San Diego and then out at Art Basel. And you know, at that time it was just peak bear. It was winter cycle. And so our whole thing was just knock down the fucking collection walls. Like, you hold an NFT, come and golf for free. So we put that on. And boy, like, letting people bang, you know, winner took a neon light of some NFTs, and we did an ace, you know, whoever aced one.
Dude,
actually,
let's go. Let me be part of this next time.
Yeah, so whoever aced a hole actually was gonna take one of my apes home. And you know, Board G in the hip hop channel, Board G donates an ETH, qualifies to take the ape home, tees up hardest par 3, plugs the hole, like plugs the flag, ball drops right around the hole, doesn't go in, but he almost took my hip hop ape home, man. Like high stakes D-Gen golfing.
Yeah, Board G almost holding one for one of Good's apes, straight up.
And I invest in the gambling app for match play too. So you say the word, Farokh, we put that tournament.
You know who's
on
big on golf is
lock.
Ovi. Always have golf every week. He doesn't miss one day. Every week he's golfing. So we've been talking about going golfing forever. I don't know. I used to play as a kid, and so
Let's get out
I
there
miss
and
it.
let's putt. Let's get people putting for JPEGs,
Yo,
right?
putt for
Let's get out there,
let's
people
go.
putting for
Did we just
JPEGs.
come up with an event thingy here? Is that what's going on this podcast? And then we're gonna record live.
That's it.
Imagine us as recording live, like from the PGA Tour recordings. Like, oh, it looks like he completely fucked up his ball. Like, you know, like,
Yeah. That guy putts like he's a part of Gutter Cat. Savage as shit.
yeah.
Yo, but we gotta plug it now. It's Probably Nothing Cup. It's another one of these creations from Goodmonth Labs. Actually, it's non-profit, right? Good.
I had no idea. Like,
Yeah,
you're dead ass right now.
non-profit. So
Actually, look at this sick bag from that event. Check
Hold
this out.
up. I was just like fucking around saying like I'm gonna golf for 6 months after I heard your question. Now we're into this whole conversation. Like, you guys actually have a thing out of this. This is crazy.
yeah. We got like we just got a little private community of just golfers. Like, we just mine the golfers in the space. Like, it's not out there in the open, right?
Is there an NFT or like what is that?
So any NFT, we launched Baz Tour like right before the bear that we just popped open for people that were interested, but then we kind of pivoted to just throwing tournaments. So we'll be dropping new art for as Baz Tour. Kyle Kill, you probably know him as the artist. So he
That's great.
he did the art for these bag guitars. Hazy-B rocks one of them. So, you know, we'll have a little bit of an art update for them and a little bit of gamification, burn down metrics, get you out there.
This is
You know,
great.
get you a little rewarded for drops. But, you know, I think we bring in Frank and we get some shoeies. You know, the winner has to take a shoey. Also, while we're on the topic, Farokh, we can get you your own shoe, baby. Like, this is This is one of our clients
Look,
called Equalize out in
yeah,
Shanghai.
I'm wearing them too.
They make-
Good.
they
I'm
make
wearing them too. Good.
Bro.
Equalize, bro. This
this
is
is-
what's up.
This is
Yo, what's my
actually
check for this?
Farokh.
Check for this appearance, for these shoes and the golf shit. You but wait, hold on.
Bro.
I also
This turned into a show space, dude. This turned into a show space real quick, guy. What's going on?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. But all I'm gonna say is if you're lining on golf, we can get Equalized to make you a Farokh shoe, and we'll play for the Farokh shoe, and we'll drink out of it, and then you'll sell the shoe for at cost to your Rug Radio people, right? That's how it goes.
I mean, you guys are more than welcome to do the shoey. I'm gonna watch you respectfully. I will not partake in the shoey, but I will watch you. I can film you. But I'm down for the shoe as well. So I'm down. If someone wants
No, it's the winner. The winner does the shoey out of the
winner
Farokh
gets
shoe.
to drink out of
You
a
don't have to do
shoe.
it.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of participation here. Good.
Hey, I know someone on this pod who dumped a lot of milk on them back in the day, you know what I'm saying? So
Let's go. All right.
that was something.
All right, bringing us back here, back to Rug Radio. You know, a couple more questions before we let you go here, Farokh. We appreciate your time. You've had a pretty interesting tenure in Web3. Obviously, a lot has
2 years
happened
in
with
Web3. 10 years in social.
2 years in Web3, 10 years in social. When you think about Rug Radio and kind of all the doors it's open, meetings you had, events you participated in, what are like the top 2 moments in your mind that you'll never forget?
It's hard to say because like every week is genuinely the biggest week of my life, and every day is the biggest of my life. It's like crazy. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, scarier and scarier. But that's good. If you're scared, it's good. But it's I would say like definitely the day of the launch, I think was a very special moment. Not the launch, actually, sorry. The day that like the conceptualization of Rug Radio on that Twitter Spaces on a Sunday night or Saturday night, I forgot, after 10-hour space where we created Rug Radio with the famous first POAP, September 19th, 2021. So that was like big moment. And then I would say I think
you know what it is? You don't slow down. That's what it is. You don't. Sometimes you gotta stop and smell the roses, Farokh. You know what I'm saying?
You know when I stopped and smelled the roses most recently? This last week after Paris. So I was gonna say my second moment would almost be like this past week, where you know what? Fuck yeah. I'm born and raised in Paris. I'm French. I'm Persian, French, live in Canada. Talking in front of like my family, like so my mom, my girlfriend, like my mom brought out like childhood friends and shit, and like hundreds of people with the Eiffel Tower in my back, and I'm like moderating Garga, and like it was like everywhere people and people down the line. Now that to tell people on the megaphone like don't try to come up on stage anymore, go find a side stage. Like shit was crazy, and like being there. And that whole week, which was like our event with Yuga and Improbable, and then I went to a bunch of other things, and I spoke at the Future Fashion Summit where I met some of the biggest brands in the world trying to enter the space, and they were aware of us and knowing what we were up to, and like having like a bunch of my team members down there, and just I had meetings on meetings. It was like 5 days of like events, speaking, meeting, partying, events, speaking, like all day for like 5-6 days straight. Leaving out of that, I realized I was like, wow, like there's something there, and it's really big right now, and it can become even bigger. And after Paris, I was like, let's go. So last week all I did was 16-hour days, 5 days straight, and then we're back at it, right? We're Tuesday, so here we are. Like it's just like it really motivated me. I was like, let's go. Like it's like another kick, right, for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that Paris event looked lit. I was kind of shocked at the turnout. I was like, man, so many people showed up to that event. That was great to see. Also saw the punk chain, the Tiffany's punk chain. I commented on that. I was like, let's go. He's got it. He's got it right here. Dude, just know that's a cool thing about Web3 and just social media. These interactions. When you're at an event like that and you're rocking the punk chain, just know that cousin Faxx is like just one little jewel on that chain, living vicariously through that experience right there.
Bro, you're puffing jewels, man. I mean, like, I think I need to get a CryptoPunk now with a pipe so I could puff a Jack Butcher check.
Yeah.
It's like the meme is in the smoke, baby.
Punk is like my favorite shit. Like punk will always be my thing. Like I love my ape, I love my mutants, I have everything. I have the Kodas, that's my son. But like my punk is like, I just love the punks. It's just forever. Like even the punk community in Paris showed out very strong. And it was impressively strong. Even at our event, it was like apes, punks, and rug radio holders, right? And there was a lot of punks that pulled up. Like some motherfuckers with like hundreds of punks, and you're out here like, damn. Like, like on my left, I have Daddy Seed Phrase. On my right, I have like MB Vault with 174 punks who claim 350 of them. Like, you're just like, shit. Like, there's limos to this shit. I got work to do. Like, Paris was like, damn, we got work to do.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's good to get out there. You got to get out there. You got to go out there. You got to see what's happening in different parts of the world. I want to go to like Korea at the end of the year. Hopefully, I want to try and go to Token 2049 in Singapore. Like, I want to go out there to Asia. Like, I want to go and see more because Web3 is not just USA and Canada. Like, there's so much crazy shit happening, like in Europe and Southeast Asia, around the globe. So in Dubai, like just this past week, it was Art World. Like a bunch of folks were out there. So it's there's a lot happening in the space around the world.
Yeah, you really are embodying like the global interconnectivity that Web3 offers. And, and that's kind of the thing. You're, I guess, born in Paris, but live in Montreal, but Persian. You are kind of like that international man of mystery, 100%. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I speak 5 languages. Like, I love this shit. Like, I was always like a history nut in school. Like, it was just like, I just like cultures, and I just love like studying people. And I've just been doing this my whole life in a way. And like, even when I started social media, like on Tumblr, like early on, like I love the fact that I could gather people from all around the world, no matter their like religious beliefs or where they were from in the world, around the topic, which was like luxury and architecture and fine craftsmanship and watches and cars. And like, I thought it was cool. And so Web3 to me, like at the end of the day, it's like we're bringing people around from all around the world, and we don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't really care where you guys are from. I respect it and I appreciate it, but it doesn't matter. It won't change the way I see you. I see you for a contribution you make to the space, not for where you're from. And I think that's what people in general should be judged for, is like their contribution to the world and not what God they believe in or like where they're from in the world, right? So that's up to them and their beliefs. But that's what I like about like when you study like social media, when you study like people interactions, and you see this technology that allows you to empower people, you're like, fuck, like there's something here.
There is something here.
There's something here. We're up to something good, folks. We're up to something good.
Yeah, we just gotta like, I think, keep channeling that kind of positive energy, right? And like rising above the negativity and the doubt. Farokh, thank you so much for your time. I think with that, we've officially put you in the no fade zone here on the podcast. Let's go.
Shoo! How about that, Faxx?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Honestly, I had a great time talking to Farokh. That was quite the vibe. What did you think about that interview? Good?
Deep cuts. I think one of the biggest things I took away in that call is how hard it is. Yeah, I guess I was reflecting while he was talking on building the team here at Goodmonth Labs and him having a team, and reflecting as builders is, in this day and age, March 23 in Web3 and crypto, if you have a team around you that you're building and you're nourishing, like that's something to be proud of at this point in time in the markets, and how easy it is to lose faith in Web3, how easy it is to lose faith in being innovative. I think I had a little bit of a moment listening to him talk and realizing that like there are a lot of people in the space that are doing a lot to hold on to their teams and empower their teams and keep building in these times. And I think that a lot of people on Twitter don't realize that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I imagine other builders who are listening to this episode will have some similar takeaways. That's pretty fire, man. I do think we got some of that backstage vibe from him. We were able to kind of make him think about some things that he hasn't thought about before. Look, he's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He's just like go, go, go. And ultimately, the reason is because I think he knows like this is the right path for him, and he needs to keep pushing. And that's a pretty powerful idea. I thought it was pretty funny too how like back in high school he was basically doing like memes, and I like an anonymous memer, right? Like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like what
he's
a
an anon memer.
parallel to where we're at here in the NFT space. I think that's a pretty funny story. I bet most people haven't heard that. So I'm glad we captured that. He should mint it. What we need to do is track down these memes that he used to make in high school and put them on the blockchain, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And then I mean, big takeaway on some of his hobbies that I don't know if it's gonna make it to the pod because I lost my internet connection there, but I think it's up only for the opportunity of getting a little bit of Rug Radio tourney on the books.
Yeah, that's right. We have a recording here of Farokh saying that he is interested to participate in the next probably Nothing Cup event, the Web3 golf tournament circuit. I love to hear it. So hopefully we'll be able to put together some nice events this season, and definitely the Rapid Rug Radio. That's pretty cool. I didn't know he was into golf. So that got you like right away, like pumped up, right? You're like, yo, let's fucking go. That's um
Yeah, I mean, it's something special swinging sticks with people who like picks, you know? Like it's it's just it's a different kind of level, I think. And I think it's cuz we don't get out much, you know? We're behind the computer a lot. We're digital. We've opted in for the digital world, the digital life.
yeah, that's the thing with golf is the fresh air outdoors. It also requires you to focus on the ball and your swing. And if you're thinking about anything other than those things, you're going to shank a ball right into the woods. So it requires a certain level of concentration, and it's a little bit meditative, I'd say. So awesome episode. Glad that we could capture that. Hopefully, our listeners enjoyed that. So, if you're listening, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Never Fade NFT and subscribe to our YouTube. This concludes another episode of Never Fade, the NFT podcast. We'll be bringing more takes from builders in the space that we think are going to be here for the long term, as well as hit on current topics. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Ain't gonna catch me without a roof over my head, verifying everything. That's a bad bet if the bags check less. About to burn back to back, flipping not cheap when that Jenny duh hits. That's the race to 250 in the world, and you chose to sleep. That's a bad bet if you wake up checkless. No more people without bags, yet they need status. Running head first with the VV check.